Offense today, they got some extra work. How do you think they did today?
Well, a lot of good things. A couple of mistakes that we have to iron out. We had some opportunities. I think Fitzy was a little fired up. He overshot a couple of throws that he's been making. So a lot of good things in terms of that. Good decisions were made. Ball was delivered where it should be to the right intended receiver. And like I said, he looked a little fired up. I mean, he threw a couple high balls and a little uncharacteristic of him. I thought we ran the ball well effectively. I thought that group did some really good things. A little disappointed on the fourth and short. We got to get that. We can't leave that play on the field. That was disappointing.
Obviously, it's only the preseason. You still have another game to go. But in terms of punching the ball into the end zone, is there any frustration at this point that you haven't been able to do, or do you just factor it into, hey, it's still early. We're not running the full game plan, things like that?
Yeah, I mean that's it. But still with the plays that we're running, we can be a little more efficient. And again, we'll get an opportunity to really dive into it and watch the tape and kind of assess those things and see where we missed the opportunities.
Went into the decision to go from Fitz to Heineke at that point in the game. Was that kind of the plan going into it, or was it game
pretty
flow?
much what happened was we had we had a big number of plays for the first offense. So and that was our plan, was really more about the number than it was anything else. And once we hit the number, we made the change. And it just so happened to be perfectly at the end of the first quarter.
When it comes to the kicking, obviously the results were good, but how did that process look to you after what happened in New England last week? Team's operation there with Hopkins, Cheeseman, and Trust.
I mean, that's what we're working towards. I think, again, as I told you guys last week, that what happened was we're learning the process, and so we have to continue. I mean, we're not satisfied with it, obviously. We just want to keep honing it and getting it better and better and more precise. And he's got to get more and more comfortable. I mean, it's just going to come from more and more reps together. Am I happy about it? Yeah, I am. I am. And I'm very confident in it because he's a good young snapper. Got a good holder, and we got a very good kicker. So it's just a matter of working it and continue to work it.
What did you think of some of the corners that you got to see today with William and Kendall out?
I thought there were some really good things out there. I can't wait to see the tape and really watch each individual guy and see the plays. One of the things that we also got a chance to look at was at the nickel position too. We saw some really good things. Saw some guys really out there competing, and that's what we looked for. There was a lot of calls that Jack made that really put these guys in tough, stressful positions. And I thought that was really good. I really do. I appreciate Jack doing that because it's going to help create some clarity for us as we go through this. But it was good to watch those guys out there competing, especially the young guys. I thought Benjamin had a good night. I thought he did some really good things, and that was a big step for him.
Without giving too much away, could you share maybe what that means you put them in stressful positions like that?
Well, just put him in tough positions. I mean, based on the calls that he made. And as you watch it and you look at it, we see certain situations where typically you might call something else as opposed to putting him in those types of tough positions.
What did you think of Jarrett Patterson's play tonight?
I thought it was solid. I really did. I mean, he's an explosive, dynamic young back. We gave him some opportunities early on with the first bunch, and he did a nice job with that. And then when the second bunch was in there, 2s-on-2s, I thought he really showed his ability. And again, you've got to be able to do that consistently, and so we'll see. He'll get some more opportunities. We still have one more preseason game left to go.
You've said in the past that you're looking, among other things, to see how players react with the pads coming on, with live action. Is he one of those that you think thrives in these types of situations? Or?
I do. I think he's a guy that does thrive in these types of situations. It's his style of football, the way he plays, and his stature. It is. He does a nice job with what he has, and he's very effective.
Has Jarrett changed maybe through the first two games, maybe changed the way you view what his role could be if he's on the roster?
No. We feel very comfortable with the role we have for him. And we'll see how it goes.
And what with Taylor Heineke, what stood out about his game tonight?
Well, the big thing about it, and you guys, maybe you guys noticed it too, was when he gets into the game, his mobility shows. In practice, he's not looking to scramble in practice. I guess in the game, if there's an opportunity to move forward, he does. And that's the big difference, and that's what really shows. That's a big asset for him, is his quickness, his athletic ability. You see he's got a little bit smarter. He's sliding a little bit more, running out of bounds a couple more times, which made me happy, so I was glad to see that.
Hey, Ryan, I know it's just the preseason, but you did seem pretty fired up about that one play on the goal line. What was happening there? Because it was hard to tell from the press box.
Well, they felt it was helmet to helmet, and I don't think it was a helmet to helmet. It was an indirect, if it was anything. I mean, he wasn't out trying to hit the guy in the head. He was trying to hit him right in the chest. At the goal line, you have to hit a guy in the chest. Because if you go to cut the legs out, he just goes over the top and scores. So he went to hit him in the chest, and in my opinion, that's where he hit him. I could be wrong, but I mean, if he hits him in the chest, the body's going to move, and it's going to look like helmet to helmet.
So that was that whole argument was just on that one
that's
thing.
what that whole argument was about.
Yeah. One other thing I wanted to ask was, I mean, just watching a guy like Jarrett in the second half, I mean, does that ever get old for you as a coach, seeing a guy fight like that? And,
No, I mean,
it's-
that's what you're looking for. You're looking for those guys that are going to step up and make plays. I mean, there are some guys on that young offensive lineman that really fought. That I was really pleased with. Some of the young defensive guys, defensive linemen in particular, I thought they fought. That's good to see. I mean, that's what you want. I mean, it's got to be that important that in the second half they're going to play that way. They're going to rise above the other guys, and that's what you want. That gets you excited. That gets me excited as far as our football players are concerned. And I love the attitude. I love the energy. I really did. I was, again, we made some mistakes that we got to clean up. If we expect to be a good football team, we can't make those kind of mistakes. A couple of mental errors, a couple of silly penalties that did cost us a little bit. But again, I love their attitude and their fight.
What do you make of Antonio Gibson's running on short distance? Notably, Peyton Barber handled that a lot last season, and then in the first preseason game, and you put him, I guess, kind of in a stressful situation with the short yardage situation. What did you make of it, and how do you think he can improve there?
Well, I think the thing he's going to have to do is he can't be any hesitation. He's got to find that crease, and he's got to go out and go through it, and that's probably the biggest thing he's got to learn and understand. And
Oh, I'm sorry, Ron.
And I just think that it's with him. It's going to be about the reps. The more repetitions he gets, we'll see it. There were some really good moments early on first and second downs, but learning to play the complete position in terms of being a third down back, being a passing down back, being a short yardage runner, it's a lot for him to learn.
I apologize for interrupting you. The second question I wanted to ask you was Antonio Gandy Golden. He had no receptions last week, had the one target and the drop 2-point conversion. This week he has the 3 for 38 yards and the 2-point. What did you think of his performance in the second preseason game?
It was good to see him bounce back. It really was. I mean, again, it's a big body. Big bodies give themselves opportunities to make plays, and that's what he did. He used his big body, made a couple of plays for us, and that's what he did coming out. And that's what drew us to him as a big receiver, good quickness, good hands that will go and get the ball. And one thing we did notice the difference on that 2-point conversion, he plucked that ball. He used his hand strength to control it and did a nice job.
You mentioned wanting to see Jarrett Patterson in the return game. Just what did you make of him there?
It was pretty dynamic. I mean, if we can understand how to make that return feel like a running play for him, he's got a chance to make some plays. He really does. And that's something that can be a dynamic thing for us too.
Then we know William Jackson's injury, but what is Kendall Fuller's?
With Kendall, we just decided he wasn't going to play today.
He's not dealing with anything, or
Huh?
he's
No.
not dealing with anything.
No.
Okay.
Is that it? All righty, cool. Thank you, guys.